cheated on, but no proof until nearly 4 years later. This situation really messed me up for a while, but I recently found the closure I needed. I was in what I thought was a happy, long-distance relationship. I met her while I was at one of my schools early on, which allowed us to maximize our time together. We had occasional arguments, but nothing too intense. There were things for both of us to work on, which is to be expected from people in their early 20s. We ended up getting engaged in the fall of 2018 during a visit to my family. The last time we saw each other was in March 2020 before I left for deployment. What turned into an unexpectedly long deployment of about a year was a challenge, but we were both committed, or so I thought. Every week, I spent around $200 on phone cards to stay in touch with important people, including her. Staying connected was important to me. I even used the email system to keep in contact. Everything seemed to be going well. I had support back home, and I was working on improving myself to ensure my health for the future we had promised each other. In December 2020, a week after Thanksgiving, I received an email from her saying we needed to talk, with no "I love you" at the end of the message. I felt drained and sick to my stomach, fearing the worst. I couldn't talk to her immediately due to the time difference, and it wasn't until the middle of the night that I was finally able to call. What I ended up hearing was, "I don't know what I want right now. I need to take a break. Please don't call me. I'll let you know when." From my perspective, I was completely devastated. The isolation of my own rack was overwhelming, so I stayed up much later than I should have to be around friends. I stopped working out, talking, and at times even thinking. December had both Christmas and her birthday, events during which I couldn't contact her, the person I trusted with my heart. It wasn't until a full month had passed that I broke the silence and called her for a direct answer. We broke up, and she gave me no closure, only saying she didn't love me anymore. This lack of closure profoundly affected me and continued to impact nearly every relationship I attempted afterward. How could someone be so careless with love? Had I been deceived for the past couple of years? After a month of uncertainty and denial, how could I allow myself to be vulnerable again, risking my heart being broken? These were the questions that plagued my mind. For the next 3 years, I didn't date properly. I would express interest, go on a date, and then disappear because I couldn't get past the fear of vulnerability. I kept in contact with her. I know, a bad move, for a while, still seeking the closure I never got. I also followed her posts on Reddit, something I had done during our relationship since I introduced her to it. I knew her account, so when we were dating, I would secretly upvote her posts to make her feel better. In my snooping, I discovered she had a boyfriend from a Reddit post shortly before I returned to the States. I saved this post to reference comments she made, trying to get information on why it had ended. It seemed odd, but there was no concrete evidence. She had been cheated on before and had sworn she would never do that to anyone else. I still believe that. I ended up blocking her on everything except Reddit once I found out she bought a house with her new boyfriend within less than a year of visible dating. This seemed to suggest she had been with him for longer than it appeared. But again, there was no concrete evidence. After blocking her, I occasionally thought about the relationship, as unresolved trauma prevented me from dating long term. Then I met my current girlfriend, who makes me feel genuinely accepted and loved. Our conversations are open and loving, without fear of repercussions, which is something I hadn't experienced outside of my immediate family. Despite my knowledge of what happened years ago, it didn't impact my present relationship. I stopped viewing my vulnerabilities as something to be protected and started seeing them as something to be shared. A few days ago, after saving many posts, I decided to revisit what I had saved. I found the post I had saved and, driven by curiosity, checked if there had been any updates about my ex. To my surprise, there had been. I discovered she had cheated on me, by her own admission, and that she was struggling in her relationship with the guy she cheated on me with. I'll admit it felt good. I got the closure I didn't really need, but it was satisfying to be proven right. She talked about all the sex they had while we were together, and how it wasn't happening anymore. I couldn't help but laugh at my past self for being so naive. I truly dodged a bullet and ended up with someone wonderful. I felt a sense of relief, like a cold case finally being closed, and I felt the need to share this. Not physically cheating, but discovering a years-long emotional affair with a former lover. I quickly found her deleted texts on the work phone, revealing another inappropriate conversation with a former lover. Not only were they sexting and sharing pictures, but they were also exploring both her and his kinky fantasies. They also discussed the catfish/stalker situation, our relationship problems, and other work issues I knew nothing about. Reading this conversation hurt on many levels. The biggest hurt was that this man had been an issue in our relationship 7 years ago. I made it very clear that if she wanted him in her life, I would not be staying. She convinced me then that she was over him, had cut off contact, and blocked him. We moved on with our lives, which was a significant period for us as we ended a somewhat open phase of our relationship and moved across the country from our families. The second reason this hurt was the obvious inappropriate nature of their relationship. Her seeking his advice about my family and comfort from him while claiming I was emotionally unavailable. The final sting was that over the course of our relationship, we stopped engaging in many of my kinks that didn't align with hers. We still had plenty of great sex. She even confided this to him, saying that lack of attention was never the problem. But the specific things I am into have been off the table for years. It hurts that she was willing to explore these things with him, but has all but given up on anything new in our relationship. I wasn't able to process the information before she returned to the car, and I immediately started an argument with her on the way home. This left things tense into the night, and she asked me what was wrong. I asked about him, the catfish, and the hotel. It was a tense but calm conversation that ended with us both in tears and me going to bed. Since then, there have been a combination of arguments and conversations. I know from her conversations with the AP that she never slept with him or anyone else during our relationship, and the other situations that had me suspicious were unrelated to her cheating. She is a terrible liar, and she talked about her wishes and close calls with him. I still don't trust her, knowing she has been more open and honest with him than with me for years. At least 3 years, based on what I found from snooping, which confirms her story. A week has passed, and she has been super apologetic, wanting to work on things, love bombing, and doing everything around the house. She scheduled a therapy appointment for herself, and I have one scheduled as well, though I haven't gotten in yet due to rescheduling. My main issue now is that she didn't get off social media as she said she would and still follows him on Instagram. I'm planning to have her call him, allow her some closure, but also inform him that if he reaches out again or they have further correspondence, I will expose him to his fiancée and share the worst of his fantasies, slave/master, race play, rape, with his mother, employer, and fraternity. I will also go scorched earth on her and kick her out of our house. I obviously feel terrible, disrespected, and lied to, but I still love her and find some solace in knowing she never went beyond having fantasies with other people. I can't convince myself it's worth changing my family over her being unfaithful and not listening to or considering me. At least not without trying to fix myself and letting her prove she can be better. From my snooping, I found that her parents have never liked me. I always suspected it, but seeing it in writing and knowing there a reason we remain unmarried has been tough. Additionally, keeping secrets is part of her personality disorder and has been an issue with her parents and, I guess, now with me. Thanks to anyone who read all of this or offered advice and support when I posted here before. It feels good to journal this out as I still haven't had the chance to discuss it in depth with anyone in person. Wife of 10 years is having an affair with her boss. Hey guys, me, 38M, and my wife, 34F, have been married for almost 10 years. Our anniversary is in October. I have a strong suspicion that she is having an affair with her boss, who is also her best friend's husband. The reason I suspect this is because she is not a native English speaker and uses AI to correct her grammar. I happened to see this while I was installing a screen protector on her phone a couple of days ago. She also asked the AI for ideas, such as where she can kiss her husband at work so no one sees and where there are no cameras. Sometimes she refers to him as love, sometimes as husband, and sometimes as boss. The other day, she asked the AI for ideas on how to compliment him on the size of his. This is literally what she asked, and the AI actually gave her a warning in red that this was against user guidelines. She also deletes all the text between them, but they remain in the deleted folder on her iPhone. I once saw a text notification where he replied with a heart emoji to her message. "We have had no sexual intimacy for almost a year. She doesn't even want to kiss me. We have 2 kids, age 8, and this is very hurtful and devastating for me. I don't know how to handle this situation. Any advice, guys?" As we come to the end of this story, it's a powerful reminder of the pain and betrayal that some face, but also the strength it takes to move forward. If you found this story compelling, make sure to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel for more real-life stories like this one. Share your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to turn on the notification bell so you never miss a new story. Thanks for watching, and remember, you're not alone in your journey.